Hello, and welcome to the Get Lean and Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin. I'm a certified health coach, trainer, and author. And this podcast is for middle aged men and women looking to optimize their health and get their bodies back to what it once was 10 to 15 years ago. I will give you simple, actionable items to get long term sustainable results. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. All right, welcome to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin. I hope you had a great weekend, and hopefully you listened to my interview with Analyze and Optimize, Jack and Dalton. They have a really cool YouTube channel with a lot of great content, so definitely check them out. I mean, we touched on everything about thyroid health, restoring metabolism, restoring gut health with Jack's carrot salad, the downsides to eating chicken and pork, and much more. So definitely check out my interview with Jack and Dalton. Really enjoyed talking with them, young researchers, and it's great to see. It's just great to see that in the health and wellness space. So wanted to get them on the podcast. And my last micro podcast that I discussed, we talked about sort of my workout for the year and into the next year, what I've been doing, and some of the changes I've made through the years because I've been lifting for a while now. And hopefully got some tips, ideas, what to do. If you haven't listened to it, check it out. That's episode 209. But piggybacking off, my workout routine, and I touched on it briefly, and that's recovery. I think it's something that gets overlooked, and it's something that shouldn't be because it's almost just as important as the actual workout. It's something that's always at the forefront of my mind is like, how am I feeling? How's my body feeling? Do I need extra rest? Because you get 40 plus and recovery is so important. If you're working out and you're not back to like the norm where you're feeling like, you got that energy in you and you feel like you're going to get a workout in, you're probably overdoing it a bit. I'm not saying you can't push yourself during a workout, but if you're going to do that, you got to definitely give time for recovery. And I talk about it in my workout routine and how I have my splits where essentially I'm giving myself at least a couple of days of rest between my workouts. Helps you feel refreshed and ready to go the next time you put in that whatever that routine is going to be. For me, like I said before, if I do an upper body day on Monday, my next time is probably not going to be at least till Wednesday or Thursday. So it gives you at least a couple of days of rest. I wanted to touch on today these 3 R's of recovery: rest, repair, and rebuild. And just something to keep in mind when you're putting together your programming is, and I talked about this with Dr. John Russin when I asked him, what's the best recovery for a workout? He said, well, the best recovery for a workout is having the right programming for that workout, right? If you're doing a workout that is just too much over the top and you're sore and you can't get up and down the stairs or the toilet for the next 3 days, 4 days, you've done a workout that is overtaxing and you're actually going to take some steps back from that. I always thought that you needed to be like crazy sore to gain muscle and feel like you did something. And that's not true. There's, plenty of research showing that you don't have to be like over the top sore. I mean, a little bit of a light soreness, I think is sort of a good sweet spot. But I will say this, I've been lifting for, 20 years now. And I've put on over the last, I'm going to show you a DEXA scan coming up here with some blood work. But I've put on quite a bit of muscle, at least 10 to 15 pounds of muscle over the last few years. And really, I've not been that sore at all. I've had minor days of soreness. And part of it was working with the X3 bands, which I use with a lot of my clients. And I've had Dr. Jake Wish on, and that helps as well with joint health. But either way, you don't have to be crazy sore to build muscle. Sometimes that will actually make you take a step back. So make sure you're programming your workouts or getting someone to help you program your workouts so they're correct, because that will help with recovery. You'll be able to come back in the gym a couple days later. So the 3 R's: rest, repair, rebuild. Obviously, rest, getting adequate sleep, making sure you get enough time between workouts just to avoid that physical and mental fatigue. Repair, repair is interesting. I mean, your body's going to repair on its own. And part of the repair and rebuild is sort of an overlap of just making sure that you're eating enough, not under eating, and getting quality protein, along with carbs and healthy fats as well. I think that can help with recovery for sure. A lot of people undereat protein. I think I realized this a little bit for myself when I started tracking. So tracking's hugely important when it comes to protein and amino acids and making sure that you're getting the right amount. I like to say, just from my research and people I've interviewed, 0.7 grams per pound of body weight is a good sort of baseline to start with, and go from there. I think that's a good goal for everyone. So repair can also mean, what are you doing, on your off days? I talked about in my routine, I do at least one day of yoga. And this really helps me with mobility. But it's also just a nice balance between lifting and, doing some type of body movement where you're not actually lifting a lot of heavy weight, so adding some type of mobility routine in your workout weeks are really important. And I try to do at least once or twice a day. But I will say I have been getting into the habit of just going in my basement with a couple of foam roll balls and some foam rollers and just doing some rolling. I've learned a lot of techniques through Brent Brookbush, who I actually had on the podcast. I don't know the exact episode. You can look up Brent Brookbush. He has tons of great online tutorials on different foam rolling techniques. And I went through his whole certification. So I learned a lot about, just what to do, how to target certain body parts. And I'll tell you, I've learned a ton through that. So that has helped me with my sort of recovery from the workouts. And I think it goes a long way. I mean, getting a massage is great, but getting a massage is expensive. And, you can't do, maybe you can do it every week. I think that would be great, but, maybe once a month. But between your let's just say massage therapy work or whatever you're getting done, which I recommend, do your own foam rolling. You can really get a lot done in 15 minutes as opposed to just sitting on the couch. And I've been doing that in the basement, almost every night, 10 to 15 minutes. Doesn't take that long. So this is just what I wanted to bring to the forefront today is the importance of recovery. And with the 3 hours rest, repair, and rebuild, you've got all your bases covered. So really focus on that. Sleep quality is important as well, obviously. And you're going to reduce your risk of injury, and you're going to be able to lift and do things that you want to do as you get older. And I think that's so important and something that I always keep an eye on. So that's all I wanted to touch on today. Have a great rest of the week. Got some great interviews coming up for you in the next few weeks. So look out every Friday. Have a great rest of the day. Talk to you on Friday. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for listening to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. I understand there are millions of other podcasts out there, and you've chosen to listen to mine, and I appreciate that. Check out the show notes at briangrin.com for everything that was mentioned in this episode. Feel free to subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend or family member that's looking to get their body back to what it once was. Thanks again, and have a great day.